So without even touching my guitar amp today, I will show you that having a nicer amp is more important than a nicer guitar. The reason being is take your favorite song that was recorded in a multi-million-dollar studio and play it through some Dollar Tree headphones or play it through some old speaker that's worn out and fuzzy sounding. And it doesn't matter if they use the best instruments in the world, best producer, best studio, it's going to sound like junk through those speakers. So you can have a custom shop guitar and then a cheap amp, and it is not going to sound all that great. It's not going to give the guitar justice. So I would advise kind of getting a middle ground. For instance, for me, I got the American Professional 2 for $1,500, and I'm going to get the Fender Custom Reverb 68 model, Custom Deluxe Reverb 68 model. I wanted a middle ground. I almost got a custom shop Strat, and I was going to keep my Line 6 Pod Go, and then I thought, that custom shop, no one's going to hear how it actually sounds because of what it's running through. So it is better for me to get a in-between guitar and a in-between amp, because I also thought about, I'll keep my Squier and then I'll get a Dr. Z amp. And I'm like, well, that doesn't work either because I'm going to have some tuning issues and the guitar is not going to give the amp justice. So I'm like, okay, I don't want the guitar to not sound great through a high dollar amp. I also don't want a high dollar guitar to not get through a cheap amp. So that is why I go in the middle. Like, I would get not a custom shop, but one of these. And honestly, most custom shops now are Alder anyway. So if you have an Alder body, all you gotta do is replace the electronics to whatever's in the custom shop. You can look up the specs on the custom shop and be like, oh, okay, I found out my favorite model of custom shop has these pickups. And then you could simply go buy those pickups, sell the ones that come in here, and pay to get them installed or do it yourself. Of all people, Yngwie Malmsteen actually has a great video on how to solder pickups yourself. He did it the best out of anybody I've seen. So if you can find that, look for it. So, go in the middle, get yourself, and this is nice. I wouldn't say go less than American. Get yourself a lower priced American Fender and get yourself a in-between priced amp. It's not $3,000, but it's also not $500. So you're going to have to spend a little bit, but count yourself lucky because the guitar market's actually one of the most affordable out of instruments. If you are a trumpet player, saxophone player, violin, especially if you're a piano player, a grand pianos can run $80,000. Saxophones can easily run $10,000. So count yourself lucky. You actually picked an instrument that is not the most outrageous for high quality. And can you imagine what you could get for 10 grand for a guitar? You could get a top of the line PRS. You could get a very nice Dr. Z, Matchless, whatever. So you picked an instrument where it does not cost a huge amount of money to get the best stuff for it. So count yourself lucky. Sorry, I have a cold. Count yourself lucky in that regard and pick something, But if you don't have the budget for 10 grand or whatever, the whole point of this video is when you're having to pick between the two. Great guitar, cheap amp, great amp, cheap guitar. If you had to pick, I would pick a cheap guitar and a great amp. Simply because if you have a great guitar, that amp is not going to be able to convey that signal out. So, but if you can have a meeting in the middle, have the best of both worlds, get yourself a middle of the line guitar and get yourself a middle of the line amp. I say middle, I do not mean like $500. I mean like USA made guitar and an amp that, you don't have 3,000. So for just one. So if you have 3,000 total, then you need to go in the middle for both instead of picking one extreme and then the other is kicked to the curb, because neither is going to convey justifiably how it sounds. The amp's going to represent the guitar badly, or the guitar is going to represent the amp badly. So get two that complement each other. I'm waiting on my reverb to come in. When it does, I'll show you a video of just how wonderfully clean and great of a tone it has with that. I mean, Fender goes with Fender, who knew, and so that's my advice, is pick something in between for both, but make sure the guitar is USA made. I know there's lots of videos about the Mexican Fenders and the Squiers. I've had both, and I'm telling you, when you grab the neck of a USA one, you don't look back. So try to get yourself USA. The funny thing is, the Professional Series 2 are $1,500. The Performer Series are $13. But if you look at the Performers, the neck's not as smooth. It's more like dry instead of a nice coating on it. They sound about the same, and they have the same feature with the push, which is nice. But it's a $200 price difference. But this one comes with a hardshell case that sells by itself for $230, whereas the Performer does not come with a hardshell case. So what you could do, you could buy this, sell the hardshell case for $200, and then you would have this without a case, but it would be better quality, and it ends up being the same price as the Performer. So, you get an upgrade basically for free just by selling the case that comes with it. So that just seems like a no-brainer to me. So I hope this helps. I hope I've given you some food for thought, and I hope you make a great choice. Go ahead and comment below and let me know which option you picked, which you felt was the best. And in case you're wondering, this thing back here is a harmonica thing that goes around your neck. So anyway, have a good day.